Base Resources is the owner and operator of the Base Toliara project here in Madagascar. And prior to our Malagasy project, we had an operation in Kenya at a place called Kwale, which is on the south coast, south of Mombasa, in Kenya. Now, there's a lot of similarities between the project that we had in Kenya and the project that we have here in Madagascar. They are effectively the same minerals being produced, and we are mining using the same processes and systems. There's also similarities in the sense that both projects, because of the minerals we're mining, are located by the coast, just inland from the coast. And so it's similar sorts of environments, similar sorts of locations. Other similarities, of course, are Kenya, like Madagascar, is blessed with such strong human resources. The people in Madagascar are absolutely fantastic, they're talented, and we look forward to working with them and bringing our project forward and making it a success in the same way that we did over in Kenya. Another similarity between Kenya and Madagascar is the huge importance placed on the rich and valuable environments that we have here, and the biodiversity and the value in which we see the environment. And so that means it's very important for Base to take the responsibility of environmental management seriously. And we firmly believe that the experience that we have from Kenya, particularly in relation to our rehabilitation work, so rehabilitating the land after the mining operations are finished and regenerating that environment, sets us up very, very well for our project here in Toliara. In particular, working with local experts to ensure that we have the right trees and vegetations to ensure that when we do our rehabilitation, we are contributing positively to strong conservation and biodiversity outcomes. Okay, and that is something that we have been successful with in Kenya, and it's something we look forward to being successful with here in Toliara as well. Okay, look, it's very natural that the local population around a project like Base Toliara have concerns about environment, and Base is here to assure them that we'll do everything in our power to make sure that environmental challenges are mitigated and managed in a way that creates positive outcomes. Okay, so naturally, and of course, all environmental regulations that are present here in Madagascar will be adhered to. Terms of the environmental licenses will be implemented and will be heavily regulated and monitored by local officials. But of course, there's also other standards that Base will hold itself to. There are international standards when it comes to environmental management. There are international standards when it comes to things like human rights and labour laws, and those things are important to Base Toliara as well. So Base Toliara currently has an environmental licence for the project, but that licence was issued a number of years ago. So as part of restarting the project, we have committed to undertaking an update of our environmental studies and our assessments in order to update our environmental licence. Now that involves doing a number of different studies and monitoring in the field by environmental experts. Okay, that includes things like flora and fauna surveys and studies, noise checking, looking at various species around the mining operations. That work is in the process of commencing. We're working closely with communities to ensure that they understand the work that has to take place so that work can happen out in the field. It should take a couple of months to get the data required. That will be submitted to the regulatory authorities, and the licenses will be updated to reflect the new reality in which we're in. That resulted in very strong outcomes for the region of Toliara and for the country more broadly with regards to the commitments Base has had with development spending. And so we are excited for that work to take place and to move forward. Base is in the project of building up the teams that are required to take the project forward for the work that's required over the course of the next year to 3 years. And once those teams are in place, and as we're building them, the focus really is on getting out into the community and making sure that all our stakeholders on the ground understand the project, have their questions answered around the project. And while this work at the moment, there are some challenges with how we get out into the community to give these messages. We are working to fix those, and we give an assurance that we are putting in place the mechanisms for direct dialogue with all our stakeholders on the ground in Toliara. So a project like Base Toliara comes with a lot of benefits. Okay, certainly there are what we call direct benefits. So during the course of the construction period, there will be close to 2,000 jobs available for that construction period. Once we move into operations, the jobs drop back to about 1,000 permanent jobs. Base has a history, and we have a system of making sure that when it comes to recruitment, we are prioritising people that are most impacted by the project. So we look first and foremost at those communities who reside near the project to bring them on board, give them the skills and the training required to take advantage of the job opportunities. Okay. There are also other benefits that come with the project. Okay, we will be building a workforce, giving that workforce skills, and so that's something we look forward to, really building the capacities and skills of our local communities by bringing them in, giving them training, either to work with us or to improve their jobs and their livelihood opportunities outside the mining project. A lot goes into supporting the operations of a project like this. There are inputs required to run a mine. There are inputs required to support the employees of a mine. And again, unlike employment, we look first and foremost to ensure or to see whether these inputs can be sourced locally from local businesses to give them opportunities to benefit directly from the project. So not only are there job opportunities, there are business opportunities for the wider region and for the country more broadly as well. Also, there are benefits related to community programs. So Base has made a significant commitment to the government of Madagascar to ensure that our spending on community programs is at a very high level. And in particular, we look forward to working with communities all across the footprint of our project to identify their priorities, to identify the areas they would like to see support, that supports their communities, that supports their youth, to get skills and to improve livelihood opportunities, and generally to look at maybe social infrastructure as well, and education and health areas where we can invest and improve those outcomes for the people of Toliara.